Alice, how are you?
Hey, good. Going to pick up the new 16 Pro Max. So hopefully my audio goes up a little bit.
All right, that's great news. JC, how are you?
I'm doing good, Yaman. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. What's new with you?
I just got back from my 2 week long trip all across the Western United States in my Tesla Model 3 long range all wheel drive, and it was great.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear more about it later on. West Hicks, how are you?
Yeah, man, doing really well. How
Good. Your audio quality is a little low. Robert, how is it going, man?
Going great. My car just drove me through Silicon Valley stop and go traffic for an hour.
Look at that energy. I should be starting with Robert. That energy is amazing, captivating. Robert, are you going to
Wait,
make it to our AI amateur space tonight?
of course. Wait until they all start working together. And this is something only the Tesla fleet can do, because even if Rivian did it or Lucid did it or some other company did it, they don't have enough vehicles on the road for anybody to notice. In Silicon Valley, here's a Tesla. There's Teslas everywhere around here. So when they start working together, everybody's going to notice it in the road, working together. No other car company can do that. So yeah, things are good.
Look at that energy. Neil, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Nice. Neil, I got to ask a question at the rally, so we're going to hear about that in a second. But Chris, how you doing?
Doing excellent. Just excited on this space to see what you guys all have to say.
Good. Are you going to make it to tonight's AI amateurs class?
I will. That's my plan.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Neil, tell us about your experience asking a question for Elon at the Trump rally.
Yeah, so it was definitely exciting. Your advice was good. And it was very reminiscent of a shareholders meeting. It felt the same way. You know, the heavy metal music plays, Elon comes out. He didn't talk very long, 10 minutes. So it was surprising how quickly we went to the Q&A. And it was really the first 40 or so of us that got to ask a question, but had a backup question in mind too. But I work in manufacturing, so I wanted to talk about manufacturing. And I was interested in, I've heard Elon talk about what it takes to make manufacturing better, but I was interested in, because he's campaigning for Trump, hoping he would mention tariffs. And I was hoping he would go a little deeper into how we have less lawyers and finance people and so forth. But nonetheless, it was just absolutely thrilling. You try and keep your heart rate down. My palms were so sweaty, I think my phone was going to slip out of my hands. But it was great. It was great. He was very sincere and just looked right at me and talked to me the whole time. So it was great.
Yeah, I hear you. When I went up there to ask a question too, right as you step into the spotlight, that last bit. I mean, as you move forward in the line, your excitement kind of goes up exponentially. But then when you step up to the mic and the camera turns to you and the red light goes on, your heart rate is high, right?
Yes, it is. You are definitely in the.
Yeah, Neil, your mic quality
Figuratively
is a
and
little low
literally.
today. Yeah, your mic quality is a little low today. But Robert, did you ever get a chance to ask a question to Elon at the Investor Day and everything?
No, I haven't.
Well, you don't go to these Investor Days?
No, I had the first ride in the first Tesla. It's somebody else's job now to go and ask the questions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was pretty amazing experience, and
Yeah, I saw
at
you.
this.
I saw the video of you asking a question. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go up there and you kind of try to get your words right, and I'm practicing my question as I move up in the line, and trying different variations. And I saw Neil wrote his on the phone. And I just want to kind of keep mine short. I had it written down too, but I didn't want to read it and everything. And Neil didn't either. And Neil asked a great question on manufacturing. Neil?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I had it on my phone because I was fearing an absolute mental blank out, like I'd be starstruck or something, and I just have to look down. But yeah, luckily I didn't.
And, I couldn't even tell in your video that you were excited that your heart rate was up or sweating or anything like that. That never came across on the video.
Yeah, glad to hear it. Yeah, glad to hear it. It was certainly worth the effort. And like you said, you have about 2 seconds to get in line, 2 or 3. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. 2 or 3 seconds at most. And honestly, I didn't even know that there was a indication. Like, I was with someone. I went to the rally with somebody, and she pushed me to the mic, like literally with both hands. When I think Elon said something about questions, and everyone just like lined up right away. Anyway, Omar, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Nice question you guys asked. I was watching on TV and I saw that you were on X. I mean, I saw that you were there on X. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to ask a question. Then, oh, there's Yuman on my TV. Okay. Is this Tesla Live? We got a few speakers here in the line. So that was funny.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was wondering how many people who come to Tesla Live got to ask a question. So if there's anyone in the audience who got to ask a question too, you're welcome to request to speak and tell us about your experience, your question, the answer, how was it in the rally, etc. Neil, can you tell us more about, you went to the Harrisburg one, right, Neil?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. What did you think of the security? How was getting into the event? What other kind of observations did you have?
Yeah, good question. So it was at a large local church building. Getting into the event was relatively easy for me. I got there at 4:30. The doors opened at 6. So getting there at 4:30, there were still several local cops there directing traffic, but it was pretty easy to get in. I was probably one of the first 100 or less in the door because I just wanted to get there early. So it was pretty clean, but the line started to build, pretty significantly. So CNN was there filming, interviewing different people. So we saw them going around. They interviewed the guy in front of me for a while, and then they did something odd. They actually went down to the front of the church, and they themselves planted a Trump sign down and were videoing it. And then so some people in the crowd started to video that. Who knows what they were doing, trying to put together a little story, I guess. But that was interesting. So CNN was milling around, and yeah, then they opened the doors, got us in very quickly. It was very organized. Had to show your
Yeah.
ID, go through the metal detectors, and you're in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't see any media. There was one set of cameras. I don't know where they were from at the line, next to the line. The line was pretty long, but it was moving very efficiently. The crowd was pretty good size. One interesting observation I had was there weren't that many Teslas in the parking lot. I don't know if Neil, you saw that too, but I was surprised by the few number of Teslas.
Correct. And what was interesting, I took my Cybertruck, but I saw two other Cybertrucks. One had a very interesting bluish wrap, and the other one was a Dale Earnhardt Cybertruck. It was totally NASCAR'd out, number 3 Dale Earnhardt, and they drew my eyes pretty quickly. I saw a couple other Model 3s and stuff, but I think it reflected market conditions, right? Somewhere below 10% of the cars were Teslas.
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe there were I saw about hundreds of cars, and I saw maybe two of them. I'm gonna put you on mute, Neil. Maybe two Teslas, and I think, like, to me, that says there were a few people in the line with SpaceX shirts, and I think the crowd was younger than I would have expected. So I think he's bringing out the non-Tesla, mostly Republican, younger crowd, non-Tesla, mostly Republican, younger crowd into these rallies, which was cool. That was really interesting. And then the other observation I had was he had his political hat on. So the answers were almost polished. Some of the answers were almost polished, maybe some practiced, but most of it is kind of like things that he's been saying anyway. So, but yeah, he wasn't making many kind of controversial comments on these rallies that I've seen. Let's go to JC.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. The questions y'all asked were great. Really, what's on people's minds this morning is what is your chest routine? And are you going to run a line of trucker hats now?
I mean, the hat I had is an Austin hat. Like Machine said, trucker hat. He's trying to go for the Texas look or whatever. But yeah, I work out almost every day, and I was surprised that people can tell through this hoodie
Oh, hell yeah.
that I had
It
on.
is. Yeah, absolutely, bud.
Yeah. Okay. Just a quick shout out to Hollis for the $2 super chat. Hollis, every day, she sends a super chat. Very good supporter of the space. Ant asks, what did you ask for those who didn't attend or watch? We'll get to that, and I'll ask Neil to do the same. Repeat the question, I repeat the answer. But before that, let's give a quick shout out, and I see Wessex hands there too. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors right at the beginning. They do so much for our space, and we now have 3 sponsors through X subscription. So we're going to give it 2 shout outs, and then I'm going to ask Wes Hicks to start with his favorite Elon quote, which is the request of our 3rd sponsor. Okay. In the meantime, I would really appreciate it if you all could please go to X through the link at the top of our screens and give this space, give that YouTube channel a like and a subscription. It really helps us out, bring this quality content to you guys. Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Paymore, your trusted destination for buying, selling, trading, and recycling electronics. At Paymore, you can buy the latest gadgets at great prices, sell or trade your used electronics for cash or store credit, or recycle old or broken devices responsibly, helping to reduce electronic waste. And Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. At Joa, you'll find innovative charging solutions, stylish interior upgrades, protective gear, and cutting-edge tech add-ons. Use promo code TSLA Live at checkout to receive a special discount on your next purchase. Thank you, Joa and Paymore, for supporting Tesla Live and the Tesla community. All right. Wessex, would you please start with your favorite Elon quote per the request of our 3rd sponsor?
The best part is no part.
The best part is no part is the quote of the day. All right, Wessex, what did you have to say?
Yeah, I was curious if they prepped you guys, if they asked you to be concise, or did they ask you what your question is, or did they say you had a limited amount of time, or did they simply just give you the microphone and go?
Man, it was just microphone and go. No pre-screening whatsoever, which was a little surprising to me. You kind of get in line. You have 2-3 seconds to get in line to be able to ask a question. I mean, I rushed. I was like really right next to the mic, and people just swarmed, and I was number 10th, and I didn't think I was going to be able to ask a question. But Elon was there, mostly answering questions. It was mostly a Q&A kind of thing. So, like Neil mentioned, he talked maybe a couple minutes, and then straight into quite Q&A session. So I got to ask my question, and like I said, no pre-screening. The guy was holding the mic, and you kind of speak into the mic. Huge spotlight on you, and a camera right in front of you with the red light when it turns to you. So your heart rate is high. You kind of, I was trying to be concise, unlike some of the other people who were just kind of promoting their businesses and services and products and stuff. But yeah,
Elon, I have a plan to fix everything, and I've got it right here. I've given it to this lovely lady. If you could just take a look at it, please. I have some great ideas for you. Thank you. I'll take a look at that.
yeah. I mean, there was one guy, can you sign this for my kid? And Elon said, sure. But then the cops kind of show the sign like that's not going to happen. So yeah, I mean, just gonna get to your question. And Elon had to clarify once in my rally, at least. There was one guy who just kept going on and on and on, and Elon said, these questions should be things that people want to hear about. Neil.
Yeah, and I don't know if you had this, Yaman, but where I was, when there were several people that started to do that, just talk about themselves or just have some type of long commentary, and the crowd themselves started yelling in the background, "Get to your question!" Like it was a little bit
Yeah,
rowdy.
exactly.
It was good, so there was some self-policing.
Exactly. There was some self-policing. Exactly. There were some people yelling and everything too. By the way, I just want to say publicly that I am available to moderate these Q&A sessions. If Elon would like to, I'll do it for free. I'll travel. I'll host the spaces on the campaign trail for free. And I'll just have a mic. I don't even have to be on the stage. 10 words or fewer. Questions to start with a question word. And I'll cut their mic off. All right. Wessex, I hope that answers your question. We are at 80 likes, guys. Hit that like button at the top of our screens. Thank you very much for those of you who take action to support Tesla Live. Uzi, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. It was quite the surprise to see you there. You're actually quite good looking. No, I don't know if I can say the slang, but you know, I'm impressed, you, Mark.
Dude, so many people have said that in the replies. He's like, man, he's so much better looking than I expected. I'm like, what the hell did you expect? Anyway, all right, we have a lot to talk about here. We have Q3 earnings Q&A, NVIDIA and gold prices hitting all-time highs, Tesla FSD in China, news, Juniper, rumors swirling up. Omar, what do you want to talk about? Tesla correcting Marquis, wireless charging efficiency is well above 90%, just like we discussed on Friday. Omar, what would you like to start with?
Well, that's all very interesting. I didn't hear the Tesla China news. And I did hear some of the rumors about Juniper, but maybe I heard that doesn't really exist. Wink wink. Not until Q4 sales numbers come in.
Yeah.
But it could be coming sooner than we expect.
Yeah, I think China is starting production apparently tomorrow, but it's going to be a slow ramp up. Usually these ramp ups take about a year. So maybe by next summer, we'll see some volume production in China, and then next fall or winter in US. So I think Juniper in US in terms of volume production still has a year to go. But yeah, the battery size was interesting, I thought. But maybe we can talk about that later some other day. Anyway, Uzi, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I had a question. I don't know if you wanted to change the topic yet.
No, we don't have to change the topic. It's a relaxed Monday. We have our AI spaces. Roberts is going to be there. Uzi are going to be there for AI amateurs tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about on AI amateurs tonight. Chris, go ahead.
I just thought it would be interesting for you guys to also take note. Elon's been doing like 1 hour sessions every day in Pennsylvania. Very interesting, kind of like to hear his perspective on a variety of things where he's been giving out $1 million. Thought that was interesting to note. And another one that I thought would be interesting to discuss here, if anybody knows, if anyone has modeled this van aspect of the Tesla out, I'd be curious to know if anybody has any direction as to where I could look that type of stuff up.
Omar?
On the Tesla van? What exactly do you want to look up?
I'm essentially trying to model out on my end and don't want to do it if somebody else has done it. Like essentially, we have airport shuttles, like university campuses, rideshare fleets, all of these various things. It's kind of a new, or more specifically, public transport, like for a city, what they're spending. It's like approximately $400,000 when they're buying like a 40-foot city bus. I'm interested to see that potential and its kind of what its impact could be if accepted by cities as a cost reducing aspect of moving people around.
Well, of course, all buses will be autonomous. So there won't be any driver, just like any other form of road transportation. So Tesla's really trying to make a lineup that covers all the bases. They've got a 2-seater. They've got 5-seaters. They've got a 6 and 7-seater. Now they've got one that seats up to 20. So whether you're just trying to get a ride to lunch a few minutes away, or you're trying to bring 20 friends for a birthday party or something, or you're trying to do public transit, they've got different form factors for that. Obviously, the Robovan is at very early stages. They've kind of unveiled the design. They didn't even give any timing in terms of production. So hard to really assess what the materiality is going to be. It's more kind of like a vision at this point. I wouldn't call it a concept. I do think they'll make it, but you can look at the success that, for example, BYD has had in the commercial bus market. It is a major market that we need electrified. So I think that might have been one of the most exciting surprises of the event, is that they're doing this vehicle, and it's really multifaceted, right? It's not just about being a bus. This thing can be a bus. It can ship cargo. It can be a mobile restaurant. It could be like a food truck or a bar. It can be a school bus. It can be whatever you need it to be. It's just a giant autonomous robovan. So I really like what the design team is thinking here. And what you're really seeing is them taking their autonomous technology and applying it to a full lineup of vehicles, which, by the way, other companies like Waymo can't do because they don't make vehicles, and also applying it to humanoids. So, yeah, go take a look at the Tesla gallery, download the photos, and look at all the different things they've imagined the Robovan doing. It's really cool.
Exactly. Very good, Omar. Thank you very much. As Omar highlighted, Robovan is a concept stage at this point. If you listen to some of the interviews, Franz says they started working on it just a couple of months ago. So it's still very new. They did not give a production timeline, as Omar mentioned, to summarize. Jeff Grenninger in YouTube live chat just tipped $5 super chat and says, great to put a face to the voice of the Tesla Live Maestro. Solid question at the rally. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And to show you guys how important it is to like these videos, we have the same number of likes as concurrent viewers of the YouTube live right now. So it's 1-to-1 ratio. The more likes we have, the better it is for YouTube live chat. The quicker YouTube live grows, Tesla Live grows on YouTube, the quicker we can bring you better content. So hit that like button. Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, you got 100 likes in 19 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing really well. Hit that like button, everybody. Okay. Omar, Dallas is going to get a iPhone 16 to be able to compete with your sound quality.
Great. I am a
Dallas.
long-term Apple shareholder.
Yeah, there you go. Dallas got.
Yeah, can I bring us back to the town hall real quick before we move on from that?
Yeah, by the way, sorry, Dallas, before we go to that, Neil, I just was reminded by Lachlan Waite to the question that I asked at the rally was, some people say you're hurting Tesla brand and sales. What do you say to those people? And feel free to answer this question in 3 words. Elon didn't take the bite, but before Elon got a chance to answer the question, someone said in the audience, yelled, "Kiss my ass." It's hilarious. And Elon said, hey, Tesla's doing really well. I think it's more about the quality of the product, and Tesla produces high quality products. I was maybe wondering I was hoping a little bit that he would go to kind of, it's important to protect free speech and sell a few Teslas to the crowd. And I think the Republican, this was mostly Republican fans. I think it was more than Tesla SpaceX fans. It was mostly Republican voters in the audience. So hopefully they heard the question and the answer, and they go out and buy some Teslas to support Elon. Neil, and what was your question and the answer you got?
Yeah, so my question was, hey, Elon, given this election cycle, bringing manufacturing back on shore is a big deal. It's a topic that we're addressing. So the question was, how do we make manufacturing great again? And what do you think the government's role should be in making that happen? Is what I asked him. And then his answer was, number 1 was deregulation. Number 2, it was, he went into how difficult, let me think here, it was for him to find talent, right? Because you have people that are lawyers and finance people, not enough people in manufacturing. And also, he said that, it's kind of like manufacturing just became uncool. And, I had thought about telling him, at least he's making rockets and cars. I work for a manufacturer, we make socks. So you think you're uncool? We're like the uncoolest of the uncool.
Yeah. Neil, he also mentioned deregulation. Did you say that part?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, good. And Machine is in YouTube live chat. If you missed Machine, you can head over to YouTube live chat through the link at the top of your screens. But he's spreading misinformation. He's spreading misinformation that I'm using steroids. This is incorrect. I don't even use protein shake. I only eat protein through natural means, pump every day, weights, and that's the secret. Unlike Machine, who uses all sorts of add-ons, I don't recommend that. Kind of explains his brain. But the only thing I'm interested in really is how in the world did he know that I was watching the movie I was watching? I want to answer that. I want the answer. Dallas.
Yeah, before we move on from the town hall, I just wanted to touch on something that you would think would be pretty obvious that people in the United States know, but I think I'm glad that he said was he's like, look, guys, I have no intention for running for president. I get that a lot, and I actually can't under the current laws because I wasn't born in the United States. And you would think, well, why would he even need to say that? But it's amazing how many people you see posting on X saying, "Oh, he's only doing this because he wants to run next election." It's like, okay, guys, that's not even possible. So let's put that out. I'm just glad he said that.
Yeah, it's not possible for even a naturalized citizen can't run for president of the United States. Okay, Uzi.
Well, first of all, Machine is injecting Popeyes into his veins, so he has that going for him. But on the RoboVan, I want to mention I think as a platform, it might be different than the Robo Taxi, in which supervision is necessary. So if you have your RoboVan as like a school bus, you might not need the bus driver. You might need the bus driver to supervise children or a party bus. Maybe security becomes more relevant. For these town halls, though, it's really been like a 3-day comedy special. Better than most of the garbage we get on Netflix. So on top of that, it's funny. It's pretty humanizing in terms of it's not just a text where he seems angry. The madness of it all does play well for Elon. I mean, I don't know if the media will cover it, but I do think he got eyes with that $1 million a day.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, I was watching I'm trying to get all views on Elon's participation at these rallies for the benefit of the Tesla live space, and I was watching ABC take on it, and they were kind of experts say that he's not crossing the line, but he's towing the line about voter manipulation with these $1 million things. But yeah, I mean, Elon knows the law. Elon to the letter. So. Drew says lifting machine's mom is a great weight training. This is correct. And Amy is the 124th like on YouTube. Drew mentioned that the most interactive, he reminded me that the most interactive users, the most engaged users on YouTube get a free membership to the YouTube channel. So if you want a free membership to the YouTube channel, head over to the YouTube live chat at the top of our screens, like, subscribe, engage in YouTube live chat. That's how you get a free membership, courtesy of Drew Soul. Let's go to Just for Fun. Just for Fun?
Hey, so Yaman, I don't think you started with a question word, and I don't think your question was 10 words or less, so you may need to reflect on that a little bit. But
Dude,
question...
I was going to start with the question word, and I was going to ask a 10-word or fewer question. But then the people in front of me just went on for like 5 minutes. And I was like, if I ask a 10-word question now, it's going to be like I'm being terse. And then the question word thing, I was going to add the answer. You can feel free to answer in 3 words at the end. But then I was like, that's going to take a couple minutes for anyone to get it. So I moved it to the front. That's why. But I apologize on both counts.
Yeah, I think everyone appreciates that you kept it shorter than some of the other people that really rambled on. But a question for you, and I think Neil was the other person who went to a rally. Just curious, like any anecdotal things I don't know if you talked to people kind of about Tesla or anything, just given the crowd was pretty conservative and it sounds like, not many were Tesla owners. I think Neil said he drove his Cybertruck there. Just curious, like if, you got any, anecdotes or comments around that.
Neil?
Yeah, I'll say, like Yaman said, it was a younger crowd and it was very mixed. It was a lot of folks that just, were Central Pennsylvanians. So the guys in front of me that CNN were interviewing had their HVAC shirts on. They were a bunch of HVAC guys. No Tesla cars, anything like that. And it was a great vibe. Most of the guys so I ended up talking with about 7 or 8 guys in a circle while we were waiting. And I think all of them were on X. The one guy had just gotten onto X 2 days prior because he was trying to get into one of these Elon town halls. But it was a really great vibe. Like I said, the vibe was kind of like a shareholders meeting. If you've ever seen one of those or been to one, it was really positive, and everybody kind of had the same type of mental energy and same general perspective on at least government and some base morality stuff. So those are my
Yeah,
observations.
yeah, great observations. Similar to me, the one thing I mentioned at the beginning of the space was um, it was surprisingly few number of Teslas in the parking lot. I was expecting more Tesla fans. So that tells me he's bringing out more the Republican crowd um, and younger crowd, like Neil mentioned. And I mean, dude, we got to take a moment to kind of appreciate the fact that this guy's out on stage for more than an hour, answering any question that anybody asks, unfiltered. There is no filtering of the questions at the beginning, no guidance on the type of question they should be asked. You literally walk up to the mic and ask a question. It's really incredible. And he's taken every single question. I mean, I watched the question that he answered on abortion. All these controversial questions he's taken on. Omar?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wins people over by being extremely genuine. And you look at Tesla and the emergence of a brand out of nothing to become one of the highest volume auto manufacturers on earth, doing, millions of units routinely a year. It really comes down to, I think, his marketing ability. And he's an incredible marketer. He breaks all the rule books, right? The rule books say, well, don't talk about politics. You could alienate somebody. Here's a room full of people who love him, and they love him because he doesn't just say, okay, what does the focus group say about what I should say to make the sales go up? He's just genuine. It was all real. It was all real questions, some weird ones, and he just answered them. So I think part of the reason why there might not have been that many Teslas is that's just Pennsylvania. Um, it's not California, it's not Texas, but these people, they're being exposed to the Tesla brand for the first time because they're like, hey, I really like that guy. That guy's awesome. And it's not going to happen right away, but we've now planted the seed in their mind that Tesla is good. Look at Tesla. When they see, the Tesla store, they're going to go walk in. Oh, that's, that guy Elon Musk car company. And we have an issue that only Democrats were buying EVs. Can you think of any other product like that? Like, oh, only Republicans buy iPhones, right? It shouldn't be politicized. So actually, we need everybody in the United States to buy EVs. And the Democrats, they're going to kind of curse at him, but good luck giving them to give up their Tesla, give up autopilot. Hell, even AOC is still driving a Tesla. But now we're also reaching out to the other side. So this whole narrative that you heard over the years, oh, Elon's destroying Tesla. This is so stupid. He should be running TV ads. These guys are idiots. Okay. This guy is building a generational brand. And, what he's doing in these town halls is really part of it, I think.
Absolutely. Very good. I mean, the energy in the crowd was extremely positive. They love Elon. No question about it. I mean, they're very much behind Elon. And like Omar said, Elon's building a generational brand way more than any sort of 30-second TV ad can accomplish. Orders of magnitude more impactful over the longer term. I see some hands. We're going to continue with this topic for another 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to dive into Tesla FSD and other topics, Tesla-related topics. But I think this is very important for people to appreciate what Elon's doing at these town halls. Before we move on to the other hands, I'm going to go with Nick next. Drew Soul is so passionate about Tesla Live in YouTube Live Chat. I really appreciate it. He's driving the likes. He also said when we reach 200 likes, he's going to gift more free memberships. So head over to YouTube Live Chat. It's going to be automatically allocated. Free members are automatically allocated by YouTube to the most engaged people. So like, subscribe, share this space. That's a big one. And engage in YouTube Live Chat. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, give me 1 second, yeah, I got some puke.
Okay, Nick is dealing with a newborn. We're going to go back to Nick. Wes Hicks, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to point out an observation I had. I was really impressed with Elon's communication skills discussing politics, which is something that he discusses online, but not necessarily in front of people. The first night, he seemed really tight to me. I don't know if that was Wednesday, but his answers were kind of, I don't know, a little less sure of himself. The very next night, he was like loose and really smooth. And I also think it's impressive how effectively he communicated to the masses. When you're talking to a lot of people, you don't want to get into the weeds. You got to stay high level. And you got the smartest guy in the room, not using big words or anything like that. I just thought it was amazing. I think every conservative politician should steal the talking points. They were so effective and so concise. But man, he is on.
Yeah, and he looks also, by the way, he looks very younger, like much younger, healthier, and energized on these things, just for fun.
Yeah, along those lines, I was also impressed. I was kind of surprised, like that Elon's a good leader, but talking to this kind of a crowd and just sort of on the fly answering all those wide-ranging questions was interesting because, yeah, I think we were talking about him running for president or whatever. I don't think it really makes sense. I think he can have more influence, doing all the company leading engineering work. But if he ever did run, like he could get Trump into office, make an amendment so that he could, naturalized citizens could become presidents. Like he would do very well, I think, in a campaign, just given what I've seen over the last few days.
Yeah, and I think he's making a difference too. I mean, I see it from my Democrat friends as well, liberal friends. He's having an impact not just on getting them to sign the petition, which says basically we support free speech and right to bear arms. Just do you support the Constitution? Basically, is the basic question. And not only that, but also exposing them to the true answers instead of just the mainstream media headlines. So he's been very effective at these rallies. And Andy Land in YouTube Live Chat says, Elon's communication has improved from doing a few of these events. I agree very much. Let's go to, I see other requests to speak. Please be patient. I will get to you in a second. Dallas and then Knox.
Yeah, so back to the point you just made, curious if, like, how are these people who are winning these $1 million, how are they all happening to be under the same, like, at the event? Are they drawing it like a day before and they're flying them out, or are they only drawing names at the event? I'm just curious on that point.
I'm not sure. Omar?
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I don't know how this, but he said, Elon says it's random. I don't know how it's been. And I think I've seen some pictures and videos of people getting the $1 million check, but I don't know how the process is. If anyone knows, please, you're welcome to come up. Neil?
Yeah, I was talking to someone there, and I don't know if they were a reliable source or not, but they said they were going to try and pick someone for all of these swing state locations, to be able to get it on camera and do all of that stuff. So I think there may be some random winners if he's not in a physical location, but if he's somewhere, they're doing it there, bringing a big check and getting it on video, because that was his whole purpose, right? It is absolutely an attention grab. People think they're trying to villainize him for buying votes or doing these other things. He was very transparent, as he always is, with what the intent was. The intent is to get attention.
Exactly. And Drew Soul says in YouTube Live Chat, do people realize that giving away $1 million to random people is far more effective of advertising than giving it to legacy media? Another way to stick into legacy media by not giving them money.
That's why they're
Knox.
trying to scare people and tell people it's illegal. They're like, hey, you can't
Yeah.
just not buy ads and just give it directly to people. Come on.
Yeah, Knox.
Two questions. One, do you think that Elon doing this whole conservative thing will actually help to grow Tesla? Because half the country in the past would have never bought an EV at all. It was lame. It was city folk thing. It was off. And then two, Doge. So if this whole thing does happen and he works in the government, I hear people asking what he would do, how he would do it, but I don't hear people asking, like, are you prepared that they will try and ruin him and they won't go down lightly? And it could be illegal tricks, legal tricks, lawfare, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be pushback no matter what. I mean, I'll let Omar answer the first one. Omar?
Sorry, I spaced out.
Do you think that him doing the conservative thing will actually help Tesla because half
Yeah,
the
of
country would
course. I
have
mean, he
never,
actually,
ever, ever
yeah,
bought an EV?
yeah, Knox, he actually answered that question. Omar answered that question at the beginning. There are people in the crowd who, like I said, in the rallies, he's taking in more, he's attracting more Republicans rather than Tesla SpaceX fans, as indicated by the few number of Teslas that I saw in the parking lot and a couple of the conversations I had in the crowd. And the crowd was fired up. Now, it may not lead to immediate impact. Like people aren't going to go to this rally and then tomorrow buy a Tesla. But as Omar mentioned earlier, he's building a generational brand. So I think over the coming years, we'll see a more diverse buyer group of Teslas, especially with the Cybertruck ramping up as well. We just crossed 150 likes on YouTube live chat. Once we get to 200, so 50 more likes, Drew Soul is going to award memberships, free memberships to the YouTube channel, and it's going to be assigned automatically by YouTube to the most engaged. Like, share, subscribe, engage with others in YouTube live chat to get a free membership. Let's go to Nick.
Hey, Yaman. Nice question. I would rate you a B minus initially, but I moved you up to a B plus because I think you had it spot on. I think you should have asked the 3 words, asked him at the end, the 3 words, so people weren't as confused and thinking about it. But I got it right off the bat. I would also like to mention that the Model Y is the best-selling car in Europe now. And our favorite bears like to put a lot of doubt into Europe right now, that the sales and are actually reducing, but they're actually increasing, and it's the best-selling car in Europe.
Yeah, the Model Y is the best-selling car in Europe, correct? And Tesla China is doing excellent as well. And by the way, this is amazing because even with all the rumors of a new upgraded Model Y coming, Tesla Model Y is the best-selling vehicle. Usually, you see in the last year of an existing vehicle, you see a huge drop-off. I mean, they barely sell any, but Tesla Model Y is setting records in Europe. Okay, thank you very much, Nick, for that. I appreciate that, Nick. Nick, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, and one more. And just thinking about Elon's like this as a chess move with partnering with Trump, it's like a chess move. He's going all in on that party and on that move with all his companies. So I think he's thinking very strategic on it, and yeah, I think the sales are going to definitely increase because of it, because they're hitting a new market.
Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it. Drew Soul reminds me that we just hit 159 likes, so we're 41 away. He's watching like a hawk. If you don't like it, Drew Soul will come after you. Uzi.
Yeah, first I want to shout out Drew Soul. He's a pretty funny guy. Used YouTube and like it up. In terms of Elon and this election, he's been one to have this existential dread. He had one when he was like 10 or 15. This election is, I think, I don't know, re-triggering that sense in him. I think he would argue that if Trump loses this election or Kamala wins, that there will be no United States and therefore there will be no Tesla. So I think that's his sort of thinking. Oh, Omar's laughing, but feel free to counter it. But one thing he posted yesterday, or quote posted, was the federal agencies that are all targeting his companies, and I put it in the comments. But the SEC to whatever else, have their eyes on Tesla.
Okay, great. Thank you, Uzi. Yeah, Omar, as he said many times in these spaces. Yeah, Omar, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you want to respond to Uzi?
Yeah, I mean, I do just kind of have to roll my eyes. I mean, this is kind of politics, right? You can't be like really even-handed. You kind of have to make big statements like this. That's kind of just inherent in politics. But I mean, these statements that like the world is going to end if Donald Trump isn't elected, or it'll be the last election. It's probably not going to be the last election either way. Like, I understand the point he's trying to make, but I think Tesla will succeed, regardless of who's the president. He obviously wants to see Trump elected. He's making that point in um, a maybe hyperbolic way, but that's just politics. I don't think it's actually going to be the end of America if Donald Trump doesn't win.
Okay. 10 more minutes on this topic, and then we're going to switch gears just for fun.
Yeah, on the topic of Doge, I guess I'm just wondering what people think realistically, if Trump won, what potentially Elon would do, just because, if he was actually like a department head or something like that, it'd just be a massive conflict of interest, assuming he doesn't give up other roles, which I don't think he'd want to do. So, would it be just an advisory role or something like that more realistically?
Okay, I saw a thumbs down from Wave. Let's mix it up a little bit, encourage some debate. Wave, go ahead.
Hey, Yaman, great space. I wanted to first say that watching Elon is almost like watching a stand-up comedian that's picking up speed and comfort with every event. It's pretty amazing. And yesterday or the day before, he mentioned how much energy he's getting. It's almost like a rock concert where the more energy you get, the better you get. So wanted to make that comment. And the second piece, I think in the short term, the biggest beneficiary of his companies is X, and the one that needed the most. And in the long term, I think the other companies will do well.
Okay, thank you. We have some breaking news right now. The real Zyrtec says in YouTube live chat, breaking. Tesla news, Cybertruck is now eligible for FSD transfer until December 31, 2024. Cybertruck is now eligible for FSD transfer until December 31, 2024, until year end. Okay? So if you want to transfer FSD, you can do so now on a Cybertruck purchase.
What's the
Perfect.
source of this?
The source is the real Zyrtec. I don't believe
know,
anybody
but
else more than he's one of
sometimes
our sponsors.
Sometimes
also-
people ask the sales reps or something, and they don't really know the correct answer.
Well, we have Matthew on the speaker board. Matthew replied with the same information to the space. Matthew, would you like to give us information on this?
Yeah, I just heard this from a friend of mine who got the update from his sales advisor that he could now transfer his FSD in a Cybertruck, so he's going through with his order. So there was a lot of conflicting information about this, but apparently it's now official. And I have a second thing to mention if we've got time.
We're going to switch to that topic in about 10 minutes. Let's go to Dallas.
Yeah, I know we mentioned earlier that there were some points made that everyone in the room was excited and they were loving it, and all fans were, when you watch like a Ben Shapiro video, there's a couple people that'll come up and they'll ask a hard-hitting question where they're clearly not a supporter. Was there any of that at the events that you guys attended or the ones that you've watched so far?
Neil?
There were no detractors or opposition in my event. The gnarliest question that someone asked, a guy came up pretty early and he talked about his own journey with like sexuality, transgenderism, and stuff like that. So you could tell he was kind of trying to hit Elon in a soft spot right away. But that was probably as weird as it got.
Yeah, he was like, I experimented with homosexuality.
It's like, really? You're coming up here to tell us you had sex with a guy? And, oh, you're totally straight now. Sure. We all believe you.
Yeah. I mean, in my town hall, there was no detractors. The energy was extremely positive, and everyone was really excited to see Elon ask questions, and they're receptive to the answers. He got cut off by applauses a bunch of times. Neil?
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to Uzi about that whole end of democracy thing for Elon. I think really quickly, Mars is in his heart. So SpaceX, I think, actually has the biggest political risk for Elon because there was a post recently between David Sachs and Mark Cuban about, hey, would you meet with Kamala in private? Would you talk about so what I mean by all this is I don't think Elon wants to kiss the ring for SpaceX to be a success. He wants freedom. He wants an administration that's just off of his back. So I think that's his frame of mind.
Thank you very much, Neil. I appreciate it. Okay, Drew Soul is giving me a heads up that we are stuck at 173 likes. Okay, we need to get that to 200. And when we do that, he's going to reward more. He's going to gift more memberships, free memberships. Okay, and we have to do it in the next 8 minutes. Oh boy. We have 8 minutes, guys. Let's get there. So if you're watching, if you're listening on X, head over to YouTube live chat, hit that like button through the link at the top of our screens. We have 8 minutes to get 27 likes on YouTube for him to get us to gift more free memberships. When Drew does that, what that does is essentially puts the fire under my butt, because now I have to create exclusive content for members in the coming weeks here. So I have some ideas. I think it'll be great. Okay, Nick is a really good salesperson. He was the best salesperson in North America for a global company. Nick, would you like to say a few words about why people should do this? Nicholas?
Yes, I would. Yaman, thank you for the opportunity. Everyone, time to take action. Episode 206 is brought to you by some sponsors and brought to you by each one of you. Every one of you need to support this space. If you don't support it financially, all you have to do is go hit the like button on YouTube and support it. This is going to keep Tesla Live going for the years to come. Do you like to listen to this for 2 hours every day during the weekday? Do you want it to continue? Well, all you have to do is go hit the like button. It'll take you less than 30 seconds. Go take action now. We need 200.
Perfect. Well, let's see if we cross 200 now. Thank you very much, Nick. That was really, really good. I mean, no wonder why you were the best salesperson in North America for a global company. Very impressive. And he just did that while holding a, how old is your baby?
6 months. How'd you know I was holding them?
Yeah. I mean, what else? 6 months old in his arm.
That's actually feeding
Anyway,
him.
so if you like babies, go hit the like button. Okay. Drew told me that we just hit 200 actually, and he immediately gifted 10 memberships to the YouTube channel. So those 10 memberships are going to be assigned automatically to the most engaged folks on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share this space with others, with your followers, family, friends, colleagues, haters, Republicans, Democrats, everybody. And you might get one of those free memberships. Let's go to Luce, and now we're going to switch to Matthew's topic.
Hello, everybody. So I had few opinions I wanted to share. So basically, I don't think Elon made a good move by offering a $1 million lottery, for the simple thing that it undermines like the petition itself. It almost feels like you signed the petition just to win the $1 million. So I think that was wrong. And also, I wanted to say that it's great to see somebody talking politics that makes sense. When you hear Trump, sometimes like it totally messes up and say things that are not correct or through pure ignorance. But while following Elon's discussions, you see that he follows a logic, and it's based on facts. So it's amazing on that.
Thank you. Luce, good to have you back after you jumped off the space a few months ago and spread a bunch of misinformation about Tesla Live. Good to have you on the speaker board.
Well,
Omar?
I will spread as much.
I think that's enough for first time. Omar?
Yeah, I mean, the petition is not really a petition at all. Okay? We don't need a petition to support the First and Second Amendment. They've been law for hundreds of years. Let's keep the law the way it is. You know, nobody's seriously trying to get rid of the First and Second Amendment. I mean, there are people who would like to, but you can't. It's very hard. So the purpose of the petition is to gather contact information of voters so that you can tell them to go vote. Okay. If they support First and Second Amendment, sure, that's great. So this has been constructed very cleverly, and you see the Democrats kind of shaking their fists saying, hey, this should be illegal. But it isn't. They obviously had some lawyers look at it and they said, well, you can't pay people to vote. You can't pay people to register to vote. But signing a petition, it literally is in the legal documents to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's a constitutional right we have. So you can't say that people can't sign a petition. Now you've got their contact information. And now you can have your voter outreach. This guy isn't an idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing. And yes,
Exactly.
it does dilute the petition a little bit that people may have just signed up for 1 million, but the contact information is good either way. And guess what? They're going to put their correct working contact info so they can find out if they got that $1 million.
Exactly. And I mean, I've seen this firsthand. Like, I went with a card carrying liberal to this rally. Okay. And um, I'm not going to give more information on that. Changed my mind. Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, in the business I'm in, we buy contacts all the time. It's part of our, sales business. So, and I think per contact, we pay a lot more money than what this is going to end up being. So there's absolutely nothing illegal about this, obviously, as you all know.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. I mean, it gets people to take action. It gets them to check their voter registration online. It gets them to kind of read a few paragraphs, like Omar said, give their contact information. And it's an incredible, like, Elon Musk built PayPal with Peter Thiel. And one of the ways they did it is to get people to refer others to use PayPal. And they did that by, I think, what was it, $5 if you refer, Omar? Do you remember?
They would give you, I think, $20 just for signing up. Just put $20 in your account or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you refer somebody, you get more money or something. And yeah, that's basically the kind of game plan here too. And I mean, I see it working. If you refer somebody in Pennsylvania, you get $100. So people sending it to dozens of people, to their friends, etc. Even their Democrat friends, like, because they're like, well, what's the harm in signing this petition? If it's $100 potential, $100 you get it, and a potential $1 million. So I've seen Democrats sign the petition too. So it's definitely working. Truth to a T became a new member of the channel. Thank you, Truth. I appreciate. And all right, great. All right. I think that's probably, we covered that in the first hour. The first hour was about Elon Musk on the campaign trail. You can go back, even during the live stream on YouTube, and listen to it if you want to. I thought it was a great conversation. I think the outcome of this Elon on campaign trail is different from what people would have expected a few months ago. I think it'd be very alarming to people, but I think it's actually playing out really well. Okay. Let's switch to Matthew. Matthew Donegal Ryan is here, everybody, to promote his space tomorrow. That starts exactly the same time as TSLA Live. Go ahead, Matthew.
I mean, I can change this space because I don't want to have a conflicting audience. There's been a bunch of kind of people doubting Tesla's ability to offer inductive charging that's greater than 90% efficient. So the CEO of Hevo Power, which is another wireless charging company that is currently working, is willing to join a space tomorrow morning. So we can change it to another time, but he just wanted to take any questions about wireless charging. He's also willing to host anyone at their Brooklyn space, any EV influencers who want to try wireless charging and see if it actually works and if it's that efficient. He did send an invite to Jerry Rig Everything, or Zach from Jerry Rig Everything. Don't know if there's been a response there yet, but yeah, happy to host it at a different time, or if we want to do a joint
Nah,
space or
do what you
something?
gotta do. That's okay. That's all right. I always encourage a proliferation of Tesla technology spaces. The more the merrier. Okay. Um, so that's starting tomorrow. And Matthew, you're welcome to obviously after your space, come over to my space and kind of give us a summary of
Yep.
what happened and
Sounds
kind
good.
of key takeaways. So let's talk about this wireless charging situation, Omar. Actually, before that, Nick, go ahead.
What about just combining the space with Tesla Live?
Yeah, he's welcome to come up and talk about it. But at the same time, I think he has his point person on this, and there's like a potential. Are you investing in this, Matthew?
I am an investor in the space
Yeah.
or in the company,
Yes.
but I mean, I'm happy to host it. Like have everyone join this space tomorrow.
You want to
That's
do
easy.
it that way?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right, we'll set up a time. Is half hour okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, half hour. Why don't you shoot me a DM and
Okay.
figure it out.
Okay, sounds good. We'll figure out the exact half hour. Okay, Omar, let's talk about this wireless charging elevator purely to tomorrow's space. Matthew, so yeah, tomorrow, just more technical detail, the better. Okay, from our perspective, Tesla Live.
Yeah,
I
so
think that would be great.
Yeah, if there's any engineers here who want to ask super technical questions, tomorrow would be very welcome time to do it.
Okay, good. Basically what we're really interested in is wireless charging technology in the past wasn't very efficient. Something happened. Now it's very efficient, almost as efficient as wire charging, as Tesla account said, more than 90% efficient. I want to understand exactly what that means and how that enables robotaxi charging. Even Marquise Brownlee, who has a huge YouTube channel focused on technology, he thought it was 75% efficient. And Tesla corrected it, and then Elon corrected it as well. So I think somebody labeled as double homicide. Omar, what do you think of that kind of exchange? Marquis said 75%, and then Tesla immediately replied and said more than 90%, buddy.
Well, I was surprised, honestly, that you have some of the biggest names in tech, phone reviewers, whatever, who hadn't done sort of basic research on where the state of EV wireless charging is today. And frankly, it's a common misconception, even among people who use EVs daily. They just don't really know what the state of the art is in wireless EV charging because they've never taken the time to look it up. But there have been people working for the last 10 years, okay, on making this possible. And we now have an SAE standard for EV wireless charging. This is not like the standard inductive charging on your phone. The technology is technology you've never seen before, that's more advanced, and has better characteristics that are more favorable to EVs. So let's talk about wireless charging on your phone or your toothbrush or whatever, where you have a Qi charger, an inductive charger. You've got a coil of wires on the phone, coil of wires in the pad. They usually have to touch each other. They have to line up directly, and you have to have them placed properly. There can't be an air gap. It has to be physically touching, even though it's quote unquote wireless. And your phone probably gets hot, and it's less efficient, and it's also slower than wired charging. With wireless EV charging using magnetic resonance, it is a lot better. So with the coils, they tune the coils to a specific frequency so that you have this sort of resonance effect where a sort of small push can create a big wave, to sort of, use a metaphor there. These coils don't have to be directly touching each other. You can have an air gap. And just like you can feel magnets work over an air gap, this also will work, with a distance between the pad and the car. So the car doesn't have to touch the ground or anything like that. It can be over the pad. It doesn't need to be as precisely aligned. If it's off a little bit, that's okay. And the efficiency is 93%, which is actually similar to a vehicle's onboard EV charger. People forget the wire is not 100% efficient too. Your onboard charger isn't 100% efficient. So the efficiency should be close to just plugging in, and the charging speed and current they can deliver is the same as what you can do over a wire, especially for the level 2 chargers. I think fast charging is a little more challenging. You haven't seen as much of that yet, but it should be technically possible using sort of the same characteristics. So this is now an SAE standard. I think you're going to see Tesla actually release a wireless charging accessory customers can buy and put into their home. A wireless charging pad they can retrofit into vehicles like the Cybertruck and maybe other vehicles. And you're going to start seeing this become a thing. It's an industry standard now, an SAE standard, just like NACS and J1722. What that means is anyone can build a wireless charging pad using the standard. It doesn't just have to be a Tesla pad. Anyone can build a pad. As long as it conforms to the standard, it'll be able to charge a Tesla or any other EV. So this is going to be a thing, and honestly, I think it's going to be the future. In the future, I believe all EVs will be charged wirelessly. And if you think about it, all EVs are going to be autonomous. Autonomous cars need to charge themselves. It makes sense. So it's kind of unexpected. People think, how could that work? But once you really dig into the technical details, you realize this is the future of charging.
Nick, and now we're gonna go to Bear on board. Nick.
Yeah, I don't have the time to look it up right now, but do you recall the company, the charging company that Tesla acquired maybe a year and a half ago? And if so, is this their technology that they bought from them?
Yeah, Tesla acquired a Germany-based wireless charger company called Rivian, and then sold it. But I think they may have kept some of the patents or something, some of the technology. Does that answer your question? Anybody have more information?
I mean, I don't know to what extent the Wiferion acquisition played a part in the charging products they're developing. I imagine there was, some knowledge they acquired from them, some know-how, maybe some factory suppliers, whatever. But like I said, this is going to be an SAE standard now, so everybody's and Tesla hasn't officially confirmed they're using the standard, but I assume they would. Everybody's going to be able to build this. It's all in the open. So anyone will be able to build a charging pad or a vehicle charger, and they'll all just work together.
Okay, great. We have Sawyer on the board. And before we go to him, before we go to him, I just want to say thank you, Sawyer, for coming up. And this is only possible because of the people, our sponsors, our speakers, who are making Tesla Live grow day after day after day. And when there's news, Sawyer jumps on, shares it with everybody. And I saw his tweet earlier, so we're going to get to that. But before that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors who make this possible. And in the meantime, please take a moment to hit that like button on YouTube. Tesla Live is sponsored by Paymore, your trusted destination for buying, selling, trading, and recycling electronics. Looking to upgrade your tech? Want to turn your old device into cash? With over 100 stores nationwide, Paymore makes it easy and secure. They believe that the best technology doesn't have to come at the cost of our planet or your wallet. And Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. Are you looking to elevate your Tesla driving experience? Look no further than Joa. They offer a wide range of high-quality accessories designed specifically for Tesla owners who demand the best. Use promo code TSLA Live at checkout to receive a special discount on your next purchase. Thank you, Joa and Paymore, for sponsoring Tesla Live so that Sawyer can bring you the breaking news. Sawyer, go ahead.
I mean, I think it's some people already shared it, but yeah, the Cybertruck's now eligible for free FSD transfer. It wasn't before. There was a lot of confusion because some sales advisors were saying yes, it is. Some were saying no. The ones that were saying no were correct, but now as of today, Tesla changed the rules and it is eligible. So the full sexy lineup and the Cybertruck are all now eligible till the end of the year.
Very good. Thank you very much, Sawyer, for coming in and confirming those news we talked about a couple of minutes ago. So it's good to have your confirmation. We were all unsure about whether it's 100% accurate or not. Okay. In the first hour of the space, we discussed Elon on Trump campaign trail. We had some really good conversations about my experience asking the question, Neil's experience asking the question, our observations, behind the scenes observations. So you can go back and listen to that from the beginning in the first half hour. Then we discussed wireless charging a little bit. There's more to come on the wireless charging discussion in tomorrow's space. Matthew Donegan Ryan is going to bring an expert into the space. We're going to dig into the technical aspects and what we do, what we know, and what needs to happen in the future. We're going to dig into that for about half hour tomorrow. Let's go to Wave and then Magic.
The wireless charging, I think Tesla has what it needed in the acquisition, which is to hire the best talent and the leading edge in the field. And they have the talent where they can meet or beat whatever that they had back then. And this is a true tried strategy for talent acquisition. So.
Okay, thank you, Wade. All right, bear on board, everybody. Tesla Live welcomes both bulls and bears for a balanced discussion. So with that introduction, our resident bear of the day, Magic, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for the great intro as always. Just wanted to talk about wireless charging. I mean, how many fake products and fake specs and fake timelines are you guys gonna fall for? I mean, when is this product? This product is still in development. When is it gonna come out? How much is it gonna cost? All these things. You guys are living in Fantasyland. What are you guys saying about this?
Hey, Matthew, you want to give us a prelude to tomorrow? What do you think is the timeline for wireless charging?
Yeah, so I can't share too much, but there are other manufacturers, not just Tesla, that have signed agreements to include wireless charging in their vehicles. I've personally seen it working. The cost of the prototypes that I looked at a couple years ago was about $500 to manufacture to basically sell the part that goes on the vehicle that connects the vehicle's onboard charger, and then the charging pad itself, like a level 2 charger, would cost around $2,500 versus say $500 for regular off the shelf Tesla wall charger. So the cost isn't that much per vehicle. I've seen it working. You can be pessimistic, or you can actually go to Brooklyn and check it out in person for yourself. You're welcome to do that.
Okay. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to dig into timeline, technology. What are the remaining bottlenecks on wireless charging? What are some of the competing technologies, competing companies? I wonder if this is going to turn into Tesla versus ChargePoint EVgo type of situation. Matthew has an investment in a different company. We're going to dig into that company tomorrow. Omar?
Yeah, so wireless EV charging is a thing that exists today. You have many companies in the space, companies like, for example, Ytricity. Their business today focuses on retrofitting EVs for fleets. You can't actually buy an EV with the wireless charging pad, so they need to retrofit it, and then they can give you a wireless charger. They do a lot of golf carts today, right? So obviously smaller batteries, but really convenient to just park that golf cart over the wireless charging pad. The technology is absolutely real. It's not a fantasy. It's now an SAE standard. And in the coming years, I think you're going to start seeing it become quite commonplace. So, of course, to the bears, everything is fake, everything's made up. But this is an industry standard. It's not a fake thing. And they seem to believe that the economics will be favorable enough to put it on the vehicle.
Very good. And Chris G, one of our members on YouTube, has a good comment. With wireless charging on YouTube live chat, with wireless charging and FSD and upcoming park and unpark features, Tesla will eliminate idle time where cars will automatically drive off and park elsewhere when charging is finished. So this is increased efficiency with park unpark features and wireless charging. Let's go to Magic.
Hey, so yeah, I mean, good breakdown. I think that what I'm taking from this is that it's more expensive and it's less efficient. So I don't know what problem you're solving here. Um, Everybody here, Tesla's just an AI company that makes AI. That makes CGI products. That's not the CGI images to sell just to pump the stock. So you guys keep wanting, you guys keep if you guys believe in all this stuff, I mean that's on you. I mean, Omar gets paid to say these sort of things, so everybody here should know that Omar's getting paid handsomely to have these sort of opinions. But I mean, you guys should know at this point. So up to you guys.
Omar, can you respond to that?
You know, yesterday that CGI drove me up the Hollywood Hills. It was pretty incredible in the Cybertruck, right? So, you ever seen a Cybertruck just navigate itself through the Hollywood Hills? It's, pretty incredible. And of course, these guys will say, it's not real, but you can actually just go to a Tesla showroom and try it out for yourself. It turns out it is very real.
And
Maybe
can you
whole Mars isn't
clarify?
real.
Yeah, Omar, can you clarify the he's getting paid to say these things part?
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, long before it generated any revenue. These days, when I have more followers, I generate ad revenue from YouTube, from X, from subscriptions. But this is not dependent on what I say. I can say they're doing good. I can say they're doing bad. I can say Elon's an idiot. I can say he's great. And it's all just going to be based on the number of views.
Exactly. Thank you, Neil.
Yeah, I'd just like to respond to Magic that there's a very specific use case for the wireless technology, and it involves autonomy. That's why it exists. If we had people everywhere and we could plug everything in, we wouldn't need it. It's an autonomy specific use
Yeah.
case until the price drops.
Yeah. Amy in YouTube live chat points out, Amy Sterwinowski points out, Magic is off his game today. And this is correct. That bear argument was weak. And this is what happens to people who don't come to Tesla Live daily. Those who like Magic or Machine, when they come once a month because they're playing golf too much, they fall off their game while the space moves forward. Some of the speakers on the board right now, they get daily feedback on their performance in Tesla Live. Their daily specific critical feedback on how they can improve. And that is reflecting on a very rapid pace of improvement for speakers. And those who don't come every day are falling behind. So I recommend people come to Tesla Live every day for rapid self-improvement. Jason?
Yeah, Magic. I can tell you're using Chat GPT for your talking points because they're stuck in 2021. Move up to Grok so that you can at least get some current talking points.
All right, Matthew?
Yeah, I just wanted to chat quickly about a couple other use cases for wireless charging. So when I went to the 1010 reveal of the Cybercab, and the event ended around 11:30 at night, and there was 2,500 people in the venue who all tried to leave and order an Uber at the same time, and there was only one exit. And so you literally had hundreds and hundreds of Ubers traveling to this location and lining up along the street to pick up all of these people. You can, if you operate a venue like a airport or a nightclub or train station or something where a lot of people are getting in and out of ride shares, you can have a dynamic wireless charging. So you can have, a 300-meter length of wireless charging, and as the rideshare vehicles move down the length of this kind of curb, they'll be charging the entire time. So think about a bus stop. If a bus, the robo-van is on a regular city bus route and stops, every 3 blocks. Every time it stops, there could be a wireless charging pad. So it charges for 30 seconds every 3 minutes. That keeps it constantly running. If you've ever been to Manhattan and you see all of the garbage trucks that cruise around every morning, or all of the taxis that are around all day, when they're not being used, they're all stored in these giant warehouses, and they're parked nose to nose, door to door, absolutely jammed in there. You could not physically plug those vehicles in if they were electric. You wouldn't have enough cable. The cables would need to be too long. This way, you can have the entire floor covered in the wireless charging pads, and these vehicles can constantly be charging. So there are many use cases beyond just autonomy for wireless charging. not including just convenience of having it at home.
Very good, Matthew. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think it's gonna be awesome. You bring some unique insight in here. I love it.
Yeah, can I say one more thing about it? I'm friends with the CFO of a company that manufactures garbage trucks and fire trucks and ambulances and kind of city municipal vehicles that are either gas powered or now they're shifting a lot more to electric or even hybrid powertrain. And they have partnered with a company that's doing wireless charging as well, a different company to Hevo, the company we're talking to tomorrow. And he said the demand from municipalities is massive because they have a lot of issues with space and actually installing chargers, and they would have to hire like full-time people just to move vehicles around constantly to keep everything charged.
Good. 5 more minutes on this, and then we're going to switch to Q3 earnings. Let's give a priority to those holding babies. Nick?
No longer holding a baby, but
Okay,
if you
Omar?
haven't, go up to the top and like the YouTube video. Magic, thanks for coming up. Magic, just have a question for you. But it's good to see you start turning the page, as some people might say in politics, and have Tesla identified as an AI company and not only just a car company. So you're turning the page, so that's good to hear. Now,
Okay, good.
when
Yeah.
Tesla starts producing more vehicles, what do you think the cost is going to, what do you think the cost of the charger and the charging material is going to do? Do you think it's going to go up or
Yeah.
down?
It's going to go down. Okay, we need to move on. We have a couple of hands, and we have a good question from AW Production in YouTube live chat, who says, are you doing a space for earnings Wednesday? Yes, we'll do a space here, and there's going to be, we're going to have the regular space, and then during earnings on YouTube, we're going to have a earnings preview event where we go over last quarter's earnings, and then we're going to listen to earnings call together on YouTube. The link is at the top of your screens. Okay, Omar?
Yeah, I'm really excited about wireless charging. Wireless charging is the future. Most of the things you've heard about it, that it's dramatically less efficient, are just completely not true with the latest technology. And this wireless charging technology will be a big leap forward for electric vehicles and autonomous electric vehicles. It is going to put a bullet in the head of every discussion you've ever had with somebody who's anxious about switching to an EV. Well, where do I go charge it? You don't. It just go charges itself. What if I live in an apartment? It doesn't matter. It'll go charge itself. This thing is going to really simplify things. No more, oh, shoot, I forgot to plug it in. Now I don't have the range I need to get to work. The vehicle to grid applications. When you really look into it, this is such a big step forward. It's not going to be an overnight switch. There are challenges. It's going to be more expensive at first, yes, but I cannot wait to get a wireless charger in my garage and start having my Tesla. It just pulled into my driveway for the first time. Now we're seeing in the mobile app that they're working on reverse summon, where it can go park itself after the drive driverlessly. So I want my Tesla to just pull into the driveway itself. I get out of the car, it pulls into the garage, it charges itself. And I can drive as much as I want every day, never have to worry about fueling it. That is the experience of the future, and gas can't match it. I mean, go try and make a wireless gas pump that shoots gas out of the floor into your car. It's going to be a mess. And it's really going to make people think, okay, yeah, this EV is just easier.
Exactly. Okay, that is a great discussion on wireless charging in the last 25 minutes. Before that, we talked about Elon on Trump campaign trail. That was also an excellent conversation. You can go back and listen to it later on. We're switching gears while we have Sawyer. Let's talk about Q3 earnings preview. Earnings are on Wednesday. Sawyer tweeted out the top questions that retail investors asked on say.com. Sawyer, can you give us a few maybe questions that people ask?
Yeah, some of the questions aren't the best, but hey, the people voted for it. So the number one voted for question is Tesla still on track to deliver the more affordable model next year, as mentioned by Elon earlier? And how does it align with your AI and product roadmap? I'll give you the top three. The second one is
Waste of a question. Obviously, they're going to talk about this. It was in the last earnings deck. Don't waste questions, you guys. Ask questions that are not going to be in the deck.
yeah. Next question is, when can we expect Tesla to give us the $25,000 non-robotaxi regular car model? They're probably not going to touch on that. Third one is, what is Tesla doing to alleviate long waiting times on service centers?
You know, they've actually been doing a lot in their service centers.
Well, tell us about it, Omar.
They've just been putting a lot of attention to detail in the service experience. It really is quite dramatically improved. A few years ago, it was like, you know, you drop your car off, you have to wait a few days, and they can't really fix it. And, you know, it was just it was an experience that was kind of amateurish. Like they hadn't been doing this for a long time. Today, you can take it in and they'll just like fix your issue right there. Often within 30 minutes, they'll just fix it and give it back to you for something simple. And they'll just be like, yeah, just sit in the lobby. We'll just do it right now. The communication, the sort of attention to detail. You know, I'm not saying everybody's having a perfect service experience all across the country. It also depends on where the service centers are. But there has been a massive overhaul of the entire process to really streamline service. And, you know, just like recently, my friend had this sort of upper control arm issue, which is like kind of a common issue. And it was kind of like a little intermittent sound. So it's a sound the car was making, not all the time, but every once in a while, if you were like turning the wheel all the way, you could kind of hear this sound. So in the old days, you'd go to Tesla and they'd kind of be like, you know, I can't really hear it. You know, how are we supposed to fix it if we can't hear it? But time they brought out this driver, he was like, Need for Speed driver. He's like taking it, like turning it left, turning it right, doing all these moves. And he's like, okay, yeah, I heard the sound. And then they fixed it just within a few hours and they gave it back to me. So I was like, wow, this is not only in terms of the app, in terms of the software, but in terms of the personnel, the way they're doing it, the way they're making sure they fix even like a minor noise issue that obviously doesn't impact the driving of the car at all. I was pretty impressed with that, and they did it all for free.
Yeah. All right. So, any other questions that kind of strike your fancy?
No, not really. Of course, there's like, when's the Roadster coming type of questions. What's the plan for 2025? That's a super generic question. Someone asked, please provide an update on the Semi. What it will be the next stage of growth look like? They'll probably just say we're building the factory. Production starts late 2025. And then the other question was like, when will Tesla incorporate X and Grok in all of Tesla vehicles?
Okay, good. Yeah, we can talk about some of these answers tomorrow. Just like Omar did on the service question, we can talk about the other questions tomorrow as well. We have a bunch of hands here. Let's go to Neil. Neil?
Hey guys, yeah, I just wanted to say that service question is so high level it can die the death of 1,000 qualifications. There's geography, type of service, etc. So this is it's just a terrible question. You know, we can say
Yeah,
put
I
more
mean,
resources
it is,
into it. But
yeah, it is, you know, exactly. But the thing is, it is a topic that Elon haters and Tesla haters use as an attack vector. So it is important for Elon to kind of show progress on the service front, Tesla to show progress, and Elon to kind of talk about it every now and then.
I mean, the fact that people are voting this up shows that people are experiencing long wait times at service centers. So really, the people who are voting this up are probably people who have one service center in their area and it's totally booked, and you know they have a little issue but they can't get in. And one of the things they've actually done now on the software side is you now describe your issue, then based on the severity of the issue you're actually prioritized for an appointment that's soon, or maybe one that's a little bit further out if it's less important. So they are doing a lot of stuff on the software and operational side to adjust this, but you do just need to build more service centers. So in the Bay Area, in the Bay Area and in LA, there's like several service centers you can choose from. So if one service center isn't like doing a good job, you can even go to a different service center. And then the wait times, obviously, when there's options, you can say, okay, let me drive a little further to get a sooner wait time.
Exactly.
I'm going to Huntington Beach tomorrow, but yeah, they just need to build more.
Yeah, and I'm honestly like, I would love for Elon or somebody else on the team tomorrow to mention a couple of the ways that Tesla has already achieved superior service experience than legacy automakers, whether through software, whether through the app, whether using AI, etc. I mean, Tesla's obviously well more connected than any other car, and they could like this is a great opportunity for them to highlight what Tesla can do and others cannot do today. Okay, just for fun.
Just wanted to make a quick appeal that when people vote on these questions, don't vote for questions that Elon can't answer. Like he said a million times on these calls that, they don't do product unveils on the call. And, it doesn't make sense for them to talk about something that'll cannibalize their current sales. And the other thing is, don't vote for questions that aren't material, right? Like Roadster is totally immaterial to Tesla stock.
Listen,
Exactly.
we're a few quarters away from the top say question being, Elon, I have some plans to revolutionize and fix everything. If you could please contact me. So, if you actually have a brain, and if you're listening to space, you probably might, then try and vote, vote for good questions and tell people not to vote for. I mean, this is our chance to ask them anything, right? We could ask them about, well, why aren't you disclosing FSD take rates? What do you guys think about the Model S and Model X? Right? Like, what's the future of that business? There's so many good questions we could ask. And we had an opportunity to ask management and we wasted it again. So
Exactly.
I don't
And I
know.
think Tesla Live will play a role in this over time. Discussions here focused on long-term investors, what's material, what's not material. I think over time, the quality of these questions will improve because of Tesla Live and other spaces like Tesla Live. Okay. Drew Soul mentions on YouTube live chat that there's more than 600 people in this space right now. And we're going for a record on YouTube too, but that's only about 140 people. We need Tesla Live to grow on both platforms. So if some of you could please head over to the top of your screens, click into that YouTube Live link and hit that like button. That really helps Tesla Live grow. YouTube algorithm pushes the space into new viewers on YouTube. So if you could please take a moment to do that, I would highly appreciate it. And we have a third sponsor now, and Sawyer is going to tell us, per the request of our third sponsor, his favorite Elon quote of all time. Sawyer, what's your favorite Elon quote of all time?
I mean, it's got to be prototypes are easy, production is hard. Definitely number one.
Prototypes are easy, production is hard. Sawyer says, thank you very much, Sawyer, for sharing. And we now have 263 likes on YouTube. Thank you very much, everyone, for those of you who take action, help Tesla Live grow. Appreciate it. Yoda, welcome to the space. Yoda, how are you?
I'm a little bearish today with all that, whoever that was on here. Thanks for that.
Yeah, Magic is a bear. Tesla bears are endangered species. Magic did a horrible job today. I think ChatGPT is going to give him an F on his bear argument, but that's okay. As he comes more often to Tesla Live, his arguments will improve as well. This is a pool of sharks here. You can't just kind of hop in.
I do have a question for Sawyer and maybe for Omar as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so in the Q2 report, in kind of towards the end of the report, it says plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for start of production in the first half of 2025. Sawyer and Omar, what's your take on what that vehicle or vehicles are?
Yeah, actually, when I was in LA, Omar and I were talking about this because there's a lot of confusion about that because that could mean various things. That could mean an updated Model Y. Could that mean a whole different model altogether? it's sort of unclear, and Tesla's deliberately being sort of vague about this because they don't want Osborne anything for Q4. So I have to imagine it's Model Y related, but I honestly don't know for sure.
You know, I'm hoping that it's a more affordable Model Y Mini that's smaller and priced around $30,000 that can be produced on the existing 3 and Y line using elements of the next gen platform, aka the Cybercab. So clearly something's happening here. They're keeping it a secret. Maybe it's just, hey, we got the new, fabric seats on the Model 3. It's more affordable now. But I think this could be kind of the next step after the Model 3. They are keeping it very quiet. It's very unusual. Tesla's never done a major new vehicle program without unveiling it years in advance. So how have we not seen this vehicle if it exists, if it's really ready to start production in Q1 of 2025? It sort of, or sorry, H1 2025. It really kind of defies belief that there's this secret new vehicle. That does kind of make you think, okay, maybe it's something smaller, like I don't know, just a new variant of the Model 3 or the Model Y, kind of like what Tony Sakanagi was suggesting on the call when they announced it. But maybe it's really that $30,000 more affordable vehicle. If so, that could be huge. I mean, the Cybercab has a lot of elements that I think they also want to put into a production vehicle more near term. And I think the fact that they're putting the production of the Cybercab in 2026 means they really want to focus on this vehicle in 2025. So contrary to the news story, right? The news story was Elon Musk's gone crazy and he wants to just do this robo-taxi and he's canceling the more affordable model. But the real story, I think, was that they are doing the driverless vehicle with the unbox process, but they're also moving up this more affordable car, which is sort of the next step under the Model 3. I think there's a good chance that 1 year from today, the Model 3 may no longer be the entry-level Tesla model.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and I think in that same section of the Q2 report, what's very interesting is the next sentence that follows, which is these vehicles will utilize aspect of the next generation platform. That's speaking of the Cybercab, as well as aspect of our current platform. So I think it could be from a form factor perspective, sort of a variant of the Cybercab, which is what we've seen. Otherwise is obviously very, very difficult and intensive on the design side to produce something that does not leverage the Cybercab platform.
I mean, this is a hell of a line. I've read this line many times. It's kind of buried in the deck somewhere, the most recent deck, and they're like, yeah, we're working on these more affordable vehicle models. They're going to start production in the first half of next year. It's kind of like, huh? Seriously? Are you talking about what I think you're talking about? And people are kind of acting like it's not happening, but it's just there in plain English on the latest deck. And so that could potentially be the most exciting part of the earnings release if they give us more color. But I could also just see them copy pasting the same line once again, just reaffirming that they're on track for that and saying nothing more about it.
Very good. This is a great discussion on the new Tesla. On YouTube live chat, Drew Soul says, predict the product launch set date. Drew predicts second week of January. I see we have a bunch of hands. I just want to remind everyone that Drew gifted 10 free memberships to YouTube channel. That YouTube is going to automatically assign to those who are most engaged on the YouTube channel. So go head over to YouTube channel, put the link at the top of your screens for a free membership. Like, subscribe, engage with others on live chat, and share the video to increase your chances to get a free membership. Thank you, Drew. MD. Okay. Yoda.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other hint in that deck is on the table that they typically talk about the current installed annual vehicle capacity. And beside the next gen platform model, they actually have various regions rather than, say, Texas or Shanghai, which again infers that it's going to be potentially developed at multiple plants and not just, say, Shanghai.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to answer the question about the new lower cost vehicle, so I don't know for sure, but we've got a few hints. So the historical hints are in the the Elon biography. Franz told the author that basically he and Lars, the design and the engineering teams, designed a version of the Cybercab that had a wheel and pedals kind of behind his back. So we know they did that. So at the 1010 event, I asked both Franz and Lars separately, hey, is there going to be a consumer version of this car, or is the small car based on this platform? They both told me no, which could be them just trying to not give up anything. But I kind of have a feeling that Lars would maybe have a tough time lying about something like that. I feel like just his personality, he would say something more like, well, we're not revealing anything now, we'll have to see. Another hint we have is like Tom Zhu told me at the investor day a year and a half ago that this new vehicle would be built first in Mexico, and then later when the Mexico plant was delayed, we found out it would first be built in Houston. So if I had to
You mean
guess,
Austin?
Austin, yep, good one. So my guess is this new lower cost vehicle will be built on the 3 and Y platform, just because that's the line that's available now, and that's how they could deliver the vehicle sooner. I think the Cybercab, we're not going to see um, high volume production of that vehicle until late next year at the earliest, and they'll want to use any capacity they have for building that car. They'll want to use for getting Cybercabs on the road. So my guess is it would be built on the 3 and Y line.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew. Paul Ryan.
Yeah, Matthew kind of stole it from me, but I think that the 3 it has good potential for doing a smaller version, but I'm convinced that since we've seen a Cybercab that had passed, the pusher, alpha, and beta, you actually have people riding in the actual Cybercab. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the vehicle they're going to launch with a steering wheel and perhaps with a second row seats.
Okay, Freddie.
Yeah, I just want to go back and emphasize what Just for Fun commented. Just don't ask questions and don't vote for questions about products. He really stole away like a few of the bullet points that I came into the space here to just highlight. I think for us too, I mean, we have the master plan, part 3. And so, I think Omar gave a couple of good ideas of types of questions that we can ask going forward. Because honestly, not to be hypocritical, I don't have many good questions to ask. So Omar kind of touched on that. FSD take rates, future of Model S and X. Yaman, you mentioned that this space might be good for those future discussions come on a quarterly basis. So we'll have to start talking about questions that we should keep an eye out for or ask to make sure we get good questions each quarter.
I mean, my goal isn't to influence what type of questions I asked, and I think Tesla kind of frowns upon that when influencers kind of promote specific questions. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is, in the longer term, build this knowledge across thousands of investors that visit this space daily, tens of thousands that visit on a monthly basis, so that they ask the correct questions in the first place that matter to long-term investors. And I think we're on our way there. YouTube channel is growing, X attendance is growing of this space, and I have a couple of ideas to accelerate that process even further, starting with the members. Okay. AR?
Hi. So everyone's always talking about the Osborne effect as if it's somehow magically going to disappear if it's in Q1 of 2025. Why not help sales of Q4 of 2024 and speed this, quick launch, ready to produce cheaper vehicle? If that's how they're going to mitigate the Osborne effect in 2025, if Elon can set up clusters in 19 days that take 4 years for anyone else, if it's just an allocation of capital and people, why has that not been a potential strategy to speed up the release of this cheaper vehicle this year to help those Q4 numbers?
Hey, that's a brilliant idea. Why didn't we release it in Q4? Oh, yeah, it's not ready in Q4. So, have you ever bought an Osborne computer? Probably not. You know why? Because they kept talking about the Osborne 2. Oh, the Osborne 2 is going to be so great. It's going to be so much better than the Osborne 1. Guess what? No one bought the Osborne 1. The company went bankrupt. There was no Osborne 2. And that's where the Osborne effect comes from. So, personally, I like this Tesla strategy. If they really have a new, more affordable model, think kind of like the Cybercab, but built on the 3 and Y platform with a steering wheel, that would be the biggest mic drop ever. That's like $1 trillion secret. So if it really is that, then it's going to be epic. And not Osborning themselves, it would be, I think, brilliant in that case. But I do worry that maybe we're just getting a bit hopeful and they're like, introducing the new Model 3 with fabric seats. Now $2,000 cheaper.
All right. Very good discussion. We have 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes. In the next 15 minutes, if we get to 400 likes on YouTube, we can keep it going for another 15 minutes. Okay, right now we're at 282. We have 600 people in the space. If a quarter of you heads over to YouTube channel, put the link at the top of our screens and hits the like button, we can keep the space going. In the meantime, let's go to Gianni. Gianni, go.
Hey y'all, we now have a $20,000 discount on the Cybertruck, but very soon after that, they're doing FSD transferability. I'm a bull, but is that a bearish sign as far as demand, or is it a bullish sign that they're trying to gin up FSD information? What do y'all think?
Everybody's broke, okay? Nobody wants to buy a car. Everyone cannot afford a car. They can't afford a car with FSD, especially. Is it a good sign for demand? No. If people were buying it, then they wouldn't have to run these promotions. But I think it's going to help sell some cars this quarter. And that really is the focus. Can we sell some cars? If you say, hey, for a limited time, I'll let you transfer FSD off that beat up 2018 Model 3 that's falling apart and transfer it onto a new Cybertruck for free, that's $8,000 off. People are going to take that offer while they have the chance.
Exactly. And Cormac, you have to stay on mute and raise your hands. New speakers must stay on mute and raise their hands. Wait for me to call on them. Ask their questions in 10 words or fewer. Start with a question word. In the meantime, Frederick, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Let's look at the number of likes. We have 10 minutes to get to 400. We are at 298. We just jumped 25. So if 100 more people heads over to the YouTube channel, through the link at the top of our screens, hits that like button, we're going to keep the space going further. And David Katz had a great comment. Why cannibalize the current model lineup with cheap cars right now? A Model 3 is $25,000 with state and federal discounts right now. And on the used vehicle side, you can get a used Model 3 in the teens. And the used Model Y price also declining. This will change as all the loan rates start coming down. So I suspect that Tesla will ramp to production of this new vehicle, affordable models throughout the next year as interest rates decline. And they're going to balance it out that way. Let's go to Cormac. Cormac?
Hello. I'm calling with particular interest for the European market. And we have a big problem here with regulations. And basically, FSD is not allowed under current regulations. Now, I'm actually taking a case to the European Commission calling this anti-competitive behavior. And I'm hoping Tesla would get involved with that anti-competitive behavior to allow the service safety provision
Okay.
be provided in Europe.
Thank you, Cormac. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to put you in touch with Alexander, who is a regular speaker in the space. Alexander is going to link up with you, and he's going to, I'm doing it right now. We're going to have a dedicated discussion on this sometime in the coming days. Does that sound good? I just linked you up with him.
Perfect.
Alexander is going to lead the discussion on this. We're going to have a dedicated. This is not the time right now, but we're going to focus on that later on. It's an important topic for me. Let's go to Omar, then Jimmy.
Well, to the previous speaker's point, I do think absolutely it's anti-competitive behavior. I think that these regulations are being slowed because the European legacy automakers do not have a product that can do this. And if they had a product that could do this, it would be legal very quickly. So really, you're seeing in the European Union technology that could save somebody's life today, a cyclist, prevent them from getting hit. And I think it's being delayed partially for competitive reasons. But also, I just wanted to say, in terms of FSD transfer, Tesla, one of the things I really need them to show to support my investment thesis to Wall Street is that FSD supervised usage is increasing and that they're making money on FSD. The number of FSD users is increasing. Subscriptions are great, but people can cancel anytime they want. They can cancel because they went to Vegas and lost $1,000. They can cancel because they're pissed they didn't get the update yet, right? Or, oh, I saw this new, like people have all kinds of reasons for canceling. So you're always going to have some level of churn there. When you have someone just prepay FSD in full, essentially they're prepaying for the first 80 months of FSD subscription, then they can't cancel. They're going to get the updates. They're going to be there. They're going to be in your user numbers. So you're seeing them do all these things to just increase FSD users. They're giving 0% APR if you buy FSD. They're allowing you to transfer your FSD to a new car. And they're really trying to promote people to buy the package, if not subscribe. And if they can tell that story to Wall Street, they can just say, look, yeah, the cars aren't driverless, but here in Q4, here in 2025, we're seeing this level of growth of FSD users. And we're seeing
All
this
right.
kind of earning. Yeah.
Okay. We have the Simpsons request and speak. Anyway, we have Tesla on the Silicon Valley here as well. But we have a great group of speakers. But we are 85 likes away from 400. And to extend the space, we only have 5 minutes left. To extend the space another 15 minutes, Omar is going to now tell you why you should head over to YouTube link and like the space. Omar?
Well, I'm going to give you 2 ads for liking the space. The first is that while Yaman was up there asking a question, I saw his notebook and I saw his secret master plan for this space. A greater and greater percentage of this space will be devoted every day to needing to like the space, unless to Tesla, unless you go ahead and just like the space at the beginning. By the end of this year, this space will be 90% him telling you to like the space and only 10% Tesla, unless you just go as the episode starts, go ahead and like it right away. And that allows us to focus the discussion on Tesla, on the content you love. And it also helps keep this space running because it takes a lot of effort. And you've seen what it looks like when anyone can ask a question. It looks like that Elon town hall. So to actually get some signal from all the noise, just go and like the space. I mean, how lazy are you? Now, here's my second ad. Hi, Billy Mays here with another exciting space for you, Tesla Live. You like long questions? Tesla Live, 10 words or less. Look at all these speakers you can fit in Tesla Live. Speakers from Europe, speakers from America. We got bulls, we got bears. And how much do you think Tesla Live costs? $2.99, $9.99. No, Tesla Live is completely free with this offer. Call Billy Mays and like Tesla Live. And yeah, I don't know.
That was very good. That was very good. We're now up to 340 likes. We're 60 likes away from getting our goal of 400. And by the way, I noticed more people listen to the recording on YouTube. More people watch the recording on YouTube than listen live. But 99% of the likes come from live viewers. So our recording people, like people who watch the recording, needs to step up a little bit. So I'm going to focus on that in the future. Anyway, we have Tesla owner Silicon Valley in the space right now. Welcome. How are you doing? What do you have to share with us? Tesla owner Silicon Valley. While he figures out the mute button, Jimmy.
All right, guys. I'm going to machine this space with some negativity. There's some dates I want you guys to know. June 24th, August 31st, January, September 30th. Do you really think people care about FSD transfer? It's basically been out for 4 months out of this year, and it continues to keep happening. So how many people are actually buying cars saying, we're going to miss this? I bet you in 3 months, we'll see this transfer program happen again.
Yeah, maybe. But there's also the possibility, and I think it's a very high likely, that Tesla is doing this to collect more data from people who use the FSD trial and not just to sell cars. Maybe it's a dual purpose. But what's one thing that's new here, Jimmy, is that Tesla is extending this to Cybertruck, which also signals to us Cybertruck production is ramping nicely. Neil?
Yeah, just a couple of quick comments. Number one, Omar, that was like so Steve Ballmer to me. I think you could sell operating systems if you could keep that up. That was just fantastic. And the second thing for everyone to think about, as much as you want to blow out a bunch of low-cost vehicles, the third or fourth question was, I've got service problems. Wait until you have a bunch of cheap cars everywhere. Lower cost cars are lower cost consumers. I believe Tesla's a premium product. I'm not saying it's going to change when it's a lower cost vehicle, but service after production hell comes service hell.
Omar.
Right now, Tesla is giving these offers because they need people to buy cars. In the coming years, what you're actually going to see is a shortage of Teslas. As I drive around Los Angeles, and by the way, this thing is just driving incredibly. Hats off to the team. I posted a video this weekend where I did 100 minutes of real ride sharing with 0 interventions. I didn't even pull over or anything. The car did everything itself. And, you know, Cybertruck also doing amazing. 0 intervention drives on the Cybertruck. And as you drive around Los Angeles, you see people in traffic for hours. And with the Tesla, you don't have to do anything. The other people are stuck doing this manual labor. When you have something that's really 10 times better, and you know, right now you have to pay attention, increasingly you won't have to pay attention. They're trying to do unsupervised with no cabin camera attention monitoring next year. This is inevitably going to create, I think, a shortage of Teslas like we've seen in the past. And at that point, you're not going to get the kind of deals that you get today, like FSD transfer. This is available to induce demand, and it's dependent on them needing to induce demand.
Thank you, Omar. Nick. Nicholas, holding the baby again? AR. What's
I
going
did
on
have,
here?
yeah, hey, I did have another question. I don't know if this was talked about, but all those posters at Robotaxi, the funny mock-ups of the spoof movies with Elon and Back to the Future, all of them said Master Plan 4, October 2024. Have you guys talked about, is that still coming out in October?
Yeah, I don't think Master Plan 4 is coming anytime soon. I mean, Omar,
Yeah, I mean, these were just like joke posters, right? So people sometimes read way too much into things, right? Oh my God, there was like this poster, like people were losing it over the fact that Elon called it a product launch rather than an unveil. It's like, these are just words. You may be reading too much into it, but I think really what we saw at the event was Master Plan Part 4. I think he'll probably put it into writing at a later date. But Master Plan Part 4 is about a vision for Tesla that moves beyond just, sustainable transport. Obviously, that's a big part of their business too. But I think really to achieve that, to accelerate the transition to sustainable transport, they've become something greater, which is robotics and automation company. And they showed off a vision of the future with autonomous electric vehicles and robots working together. And that I think is really Master Plan Part 4. I'm interested to read the actual plan. Maybe he'll release it, this year, maybe not. But um, I think that's just kind of what the reference was, that the event we were walking through, what we were seeing was kind of the vision for Master Plan Part 4.
okay, very good. On YouTube, we're at 354 likes, everybody. We need 46 more to get there to 400, our goal for today. Okay. We're making good way. The Tesla Live is growing both on X and YouTube. I need 46 people among the more than 500 right now in the space to head over to the YouTube through the link at the top of our screens and like this space. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, and share the space to help us grow, get to our goals. We gotta get there. We gotta get to 1,000 likes per episode. That's the way we're gonna get to Rivian, better than Rivian level profitability. Speaking of Rivian, Rivian and Bosch are suing each other. Rivian is suing its supplier. Bosch is suing back due to lack of payments. And just an interesting news item. Never a good sign.
$200 million they're asking for.
Yeah, Rivian is blaming Bosch for production hiccups, but the fact of the matter is they have demand issues, not production issues. And Bosch is suing for about $200 million. And
They
okay,
should be
earlier we
thanking
talked about
Bosch. If they had more
yeah,
production, they'd have more inventory.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, people continue to underestimate the importance of Elon. That's it here.
So I actually read a
Reducing
little bit
costs.
about this, if you want me to give some more details.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so just high level overview. Rivian contracted with Bosch for the motors for the R1S and R1T. This was a source of bottlenecks. Rivian blames Bosch. Bosch says it was actually another Rivian supplier that was causing the issue, that was delaying their production. Rivian eventually said, screw it, forget it. We're not going with Bosch. We're going to make our own motors, our Enduro motors in-house. Bosch says, they told us, oh, we're making our motors, but we're going to mix in some of yours, some of ours. They ended up just moving to their own motors completely, canceling the contract. Bosch says that their contract says that if Rivian was to terminate the R1S or R1T program with them, that they would reimburse them for the fixed investment they put into making the factories for those motors. And that amounts to about $209 million. So Rivian doesn't want to pay that $209 million. Bosch is saying, hey, look, you're a startup. We made sure your contract had this provision. You need to pay us for this. So a lot of the savings of their motors, making them in-house, would be obviously kind of blown out in the short term. if the court found that they did have to pay Bosch for this. But it's just kind of a contentious situation all around, but also interesting because the court process is going to surface all of these documents that give us insight into what's going on inside Rivian and why the production ramp has been so challenging.
Thank you very much, Omar, for all that detail. Okay, tomorrow we're going to dig further into Q3 earnings. Omar, can you actually do, would you be able to do a deeper conversation with me again on Q3 preview? Just like a 15, 20-minute video.
Sure.
Okay, Omar and I will have a deeper conversation on YouTube. This is going to be our third interview. We're probably just going to go through Q&A and what to expect from Wednesday's earnings release. So I highly recommend people subscribe to YouTube channel. It's growing nicely, but we need your help to get there to our goals. And then Matthew tomorrow is going to host a half-hour section in Tesla Live on wireless charging with a company founder on the topic. And I'm looking forward to that. Matthew, I'm going to reach out to you. We're going to maybe discuss some guidelines, and hopefully we'll have some experts here as well to ask some detailed, specific technical questions, and maybe we can have Dallas and Alexander ask a couple of questions as well. And then Omar, are you going to be? I'm asking way too much of you, but tonight we had the AI amateurs. We have a lot to talk about on AI amateurs. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Are you going to make it there? Okay, he's going to make it there.
Yeah.
And Robert said he's gonna
XAI
make
did
it
their
there as well.
API.
Yeah, we can talk about XAI API and some of the other news that Michelle has been sending to the AI amateurs DM group. That seemed very interesting. Man, this has been a busy 2 hours, and it's going to be a busy week. I'm really excited for it. I'm really happy to be in Tesla Live. It's an honor to host this space. I really very much appreciate our speakers. Some of them on the board right now, they get daily feedback. That is the dedication that our speakers have to the space. Daily feedback every single morning, daily critical feedback. And the pace of improvement across the speakers is extremely high. Thank you very much to speakers, to all of you who are listening. And I will chat with you in a few hours in the AI amateurs. Take care, everybody. Great conversation and chat. I'm going to leave this X space open for a little bit more. I'm going to be on mute. But on your way out, please take a moment to head over to the YouTube channel through the link at the top of our screens and like the space and help us grow.